Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us on our latest WellVal podcast. My name's Lisa Barnes, and I am delighted to be sharing the mic today with Jin Sidhu, who is a Reiki practitioner. Today, we're going to be discussing all things Reiki, what it is, who it could benefit, and how somebody can find out about Reiki themselves. Jin is based in Oxford, has her own practice. Jin, over to you. Tell me, how did you get into Reiki?
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for having me. So I discovered Reiki in 2020, just before lockdown, and fell in love with it. Before that, my background, I'm a nurse with over 28 years of nursing experience, and I felt that I've always been a natural kind of nurturer, and I was around a lot of people at that time who were starting to talk about healing, different types of healing. I knew someone who did healing through meditation in groups, and there was someone else who was talking about being a healer and using bioenergy. And it just intrigued me. And then someone just mentioned Reiki, and it was just something like, oh, that resonated in me. So I found out more about it, and there was a local practitioner to me, and just went to see her as a birthday treat, courtesy of my husband. And I loved it. And after that, it was like, whoa. It was just, I didn't know what to expect. I was just like, I'll give this a go. And after my first session, I felt so relaxed. It's the first time I felt truly relaxed in a very long time. And I just felt very light as well.
Wow, it's so interesting to hear how people get into their practices, and you're obviously passionate about it. As I was saying, I was so lucky to have a session with you about a month ago because, one of the joyful things about WellVal is that we learn about all these different modalities. And of course, I'd heard about Reiki, but I really didn't know who it was for, how it could possibly benefit me. I didn't have a particular medical need for anything that I was considering it for, but oh my goodness, I felt very different when I came out of it. So yeah, I think it's fascinating to find out how you got into it. Tell me, Jin, for anybody who's never come across Reiki before, and I'm sure there's lots of people, what is it?
So it's basically very simple and gentle, hands-on healing, but incredibly effective and powerful. So the practitioner channels Reiki through them. So it's not us doing the healing, it's the Reiki, but we are channels, and it's light hands on the person. You're fully clothed, and light hands-on touch, and we just help balance the energy centers in your body again. So some people might know the word chakras. So they are the energy centers that we try and align when we are doing Reiki on someone.
Does Reiki mean something?
It means universal life force energy. So that is something that is in all living beings. Every single one of us, we all have Reiki in us. We all have this universal life force energy. If you think about when you're little, or when your children are little and they fall over, the first thing the caregiver does, put their hand on their knee, or wherever it is that they've hurt themselves, and then instantly the child feels better. And so we have a natural energy that we're giving that child anyway, but with Reiki, it's just amplified.
Wow, that's so true. You touch a child to comfort and to help to start the healing process, don't you? So it's
Yeah.
just so fascinating that we're looking at that in Reiki. Is Reiki linked to any religion or spiritual belief?
It's definitely not linked to a religion, although the founder, Mikei Usui, he was a Buddhist, but it's not a religious practice, and it's not linked to any of those. But the practices, so when we learn Reiki, one of the things we learn is about the Reiki precepts, which is probably based on Buddhist teachings. It's so the 5 precepts, and it's all about being mindful. It's all about just for today. Just for today, I will not anger, I will not worry, I will be grateful, I'll be kind to myself and to others, and I'll be honest to myself and so we try and live by that, but that's, you don't have to. It's just, I think it's a beautiful way to just wake up in the morning and just think, forget about yesterday. It doesn't matter. Just for today, this is what I can do. That's all I've got. All I've got is the present and make the most of it.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. So who can Reiki really benefit? Who do you see in particular?
Reiki is for anyone and everyone. It does no harm. And so I've seen, commonly it is women who come to me, but increasingly I am seeing men who are coming who, for whatever reason, mainly because life stresses are getting to them, and they've been looking into alternative methods to tablets and for dealing with life stresses. I have seen children on who are neurodiverse, mainly to deal with their anxiety. I mean, Reiki is very useful for helping you relax, helping to deal with all the stresses, helping to deal with anxiety. So it doesn't matter if you're neurodiverse and you've got anxiety. Anxiety is anxiety, and it just helps calm the nervous system. It's very good for relaxing, like I said, for mental health issues, for women's issues, women who are struggling to sleep during the menopause. I found it very effective for myself and for my clients. And most people do get back in touch with me and say, I had the best night's sleep ever. Mm-hmm. So it's sleeping, and pretty much for so many for so many health benefits. It works on your mental, your physical, your spiritual, and your emotional levels. So pretty much. So you could come to me with back pain and say, oh, Jim, my back is aching. But Reiki goes wherever it is needed. So I will just put my hands, say, on your back, but it might need to work on something in your emotions is blocking something, which is what's causing the backache. So it works on all 4 levels of you. Whereas if you can see a chiropractor, they'll fix that, but it may well come back again because they're not going to the root.
So you're looking at the whole body and mind and soul.
Yes.
Really interesting. And I think that's so fascinating, talking about seeing children. A neurodiverse child has so much to deal with day to day in school and trying to conform to how society thinks they should be behaving. How wonderful that they can come and see you. How would that session work?
So children don't need a longer session as adults because they absorb the energy really quickly. So I would chat to them, try and make them comfortable. I have colouring books and things, and I would try and explain to them as much as I could. Just, if they just want to sit and colour, I would, get their permission if they're happy for me to touch them or to just hover my hands. It doesn't have to be touching. You can do far away as well and channel the healing that way. You can also do distant healing. I had a child who didn't like to leave the house. And he didn't like people coming to the house. He was, at that point, he just wanted to keep himself to himself. So I sent distant healing to him. And so that is, I'm at home, he's at home, and I just connect using Reiki symbols. And it's just as effective as if you're in my room and I'm putting my hands on you. And so with that child in particular, so we did it so around the time he was going to bed, so he was relaxed. And then I would send the Reiki to him. So I told him exactly what he would feel, and he was with his parents. He had a very, he had nice music on, and he put himself in a relaxing situation, and I sent the Reiki, and he slept the best his mother said he's ever slept. And
wow, so you're not actually on a Zoom call or something with him at
not
that
on a
stage?
Zoom call, not on a phone call, not on WhatsApp, nothing. Some people do. Some practitioners like to do that. I like to know what the person looks like. So if I've never met them before, a photograph. But just so that I can connect with them a little bit more. But other than that, I feel that they're going to benefit more and relax more if they're just in their own space. Because if there's a camera looking at you,
Yeah.
it's difficult. If you're lying, what are they looking at? It can be difficult to relax. So, and it works just as well. I have another client who is abroad, and I send weekly healing to him, and he
Gosh, I
finds
had no idea you could do this remotely. That's so.
yes,
Going
wow,
back to your usual practice, which you have got this lovely garden room where it's just the most relaxing place in Oxford. I think it's beautiful.
thank you.
So when I came along, I was made to feel very relaxed very quickly, and it starts as if you're on a nice massage table. It's a little bit like going for a massage until the actual practice starts, when it is very different, I think. Tell me what your usual, I don't know whether I was a usual client or whether I was an abnormal client for you, but tell me what usually happens.
Usual. So, when people come in to my
Yeah,
room, so
yeah.
um, so if they've never had Reiki, so I've got a form for you to fill in, and then if you've never had Reiki before, which many people, when they come to me, they've never had Reiki, but they've heard about it and they're intrigued about it. And so I'll discuss what it is, what to expect, and then any questions they have. If they're on medication, I would like to know if they're on a medication. And I would absolutely say never stop seeing a doctor, never stop any medication if you're doing Reiki without talking to a GP or your consultant. Reiki is a complementary therapy. It's not alternative, and it goes hand in hand with modern medication.
Are there
Uh,
any medications or illnesses that are contraindicated with Reiki?
not at all. But what I would say is that some practitioners are wary of people with a pacemaker. But if you, just because of the electrical activities that happen, and then you've got the pacemaker, I would say as long as you don't put your hands on the pacemaker, which generally safe. But obviously, that's up to the person. But there is, there's no contraindications, and and it's very safe. And I recently did a heavily pregnant woman who found it so helpful. And then I sent her Reiki when she was in labor as well.
Wow, fabulous.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about pregnancy, actually. That's
Yeah.
really interesting. And
Yeah.
I mean, what about, presumably, if it's great for pregnancy, it's also great for sort of a fertility journey as well?
Yes, absolutely. So anyone, whatever your concerns are, Reiki is for everyone. Fertility, it could, I mean, obviously it's not a miracle cure. If there are medical reasons for you not to be able to have a baby, it's not going to cure you. What it could do, it could help make peace with whatever journey you're going through, and just help you accept what you're going through. And it's the same with palliative care. I have given Reiki to people who aren't going to be with us for much longer. And what it does, it just helps you. It helps you make peace. It helps them, make the most of what time they have got left. And I mean, I had one particular gentleman when I worked in a practice, and he knew about Reiki, and he used to ask me to do a little bit of Reiki to him when he came to see me, and he hadn't he hadn't got long left, and he came in to see me because he didn't want a district nurse. He wanted to make a point coming to the surgery, so he came in to see me, And he looked so old. He looked so tired. He could barely walk. I had to really help him to get onto the bed, and just all of his energy had gone. And he asked if I could just do a little bit of Reiki, and it just happened to fall on my break. So I was like, sure. So I did some Reiki, and the amount he took, the amount of energy he took from me, and was a lot. And he instantly felt it. I instantly felt it. And then he literally, when I finished, after 5 minutes, he literally just jumped off the bed. He had so much energy. His face had completely changed. He didn't have that old haggardness, and he felt that his breathing was a lot better. And and so I used to send it him again at a particular time every night until he'd gone, and he just found it gave him strength. And to see the shift in him and the energy in him from hardly being able to get on the bed to like jumping off the bed, it was amazing. And and every time I do Reiki, I know how amazing it is. But then when you have things like that happen, it just, people think Reiki is possibly, woo-woo, or some people think it's placebo, but I know it's real because of all the experiences I've had.
I mean, it sounds to me as if you're giving some of your energy over to your clients. Do you feel exhausted after a session like that?
No, it's actually not my energy. I'm just a channel. And what actually happens is, because the Reiki energy, this wonderful energy, is coming through me, so I normally get a little bit of as well. So I feel great actually after
Wow.
after doing Reiki, because I'm getting it. So that's the benefit.
That is a great benefit.
Yeah.
So when I was on your lovely table, and I'm sure other people have this, when you're going for a new treatment that you've never had before, you sort of feel a little bit worried about what you're going to feel, what you should feel. And certainly my mind slightly goes into overdrive. Am I feeling something? Is that heat? Am I just having a hot sweat? What's going on?
Yeah.
What do you expect someone to feel? What are there any right or wrong ways to feel things?
Absolutely not. It depends on where that person is at that time. Some people, so if everything about them is emotional, sometimes they might not feel anything from my hands apart from feeling deeply relaxed. So what type of energy is flowing through you gives you different experiences. A lot of people do feel heat from my hands. They feel tingling from my hands. They could feel a pulsing going through their body. My hands, like yesterday, my hands were on someone's head, but they had all these energy pulses going through their legs. So, like I said, Reiki goes wherever it's needed. So my hands could be on your head, but you could be feeling it all over your body, and that you could just be feeling relaxed. And like I said, the heat, the tingling, the pulsing, coolness. A lot of people feel coolness from my hands. Some people see a lot. So when your eyes are closed, you might see lots of colors. Some people have visions. Some people it's deeper, and it's a lot more spiritual. Again, it depends on what that person needs. And some people who are grieving, they've come to me, and they might have visions. Some people cry, some people laugh, because it can bring up a lot. So it helps balance you, but we bury things deeply, so it can it can bring up a lot of emotions as well.
So you've come to this from being a nurse, so you're obviously a caring, healing kind of person. Can anybody learn Reiki?
Absolutely. So anyone can, and it's very easy, because like I said, we all have the energy. And so there's 4 levels in Reiki. So there's level 1, which is when you have your first one and you're attuned to the Reiki. So basically it's not something that you have to learn, it's something that is passed on to you. So I teach Reiki levels 1 and 2. So I put in a symbol in the energy field and attune the student to Reiki, and then they're able to do Reiki on themselves. At level 1, they're able to do Reiki on themselves and on friends and family. And when you have an attunement, it starts what is called a 21-day cleansing process. So as well as, it brings you on a journey of healing yourself as well. So again, it can bring things up, but it's deeply powerful. Yeah.
Wow. So people can learn without the intention to become a practitioner, just learn for themselves
Yes.
and for their family.
Yes.
Well,
and I've had people do that, and they just want to be able to do it on themselves. They don't want to, they love Reiki, but they're like, hey, I can do this on myself, and that's what they're doing. Then they just do it on their friends and family, and so that is a 2-day course, and it's usually typically like on a weekend or 2 days next to each other, but it doesn't have to be. And then with Reiki 2, it's the same. It's a 2-day course, but then if you do Reiki 2, then you can become a practitioner if you want to. And that's when you learn your symbols, and that's when you can do distant healing.
So if somebody wanted to sign up for the 2-day level 1 course, is that a group course, or do you do it one-to-one with them?
I prefer to do one-to-one. But if they have someone they want to bring with themselves, like the couple of friends who want to do it, then I could do a group one like that. Just for myself, it's just when you're doing Reiki, it can bring a lot of things up, and I think it's quite nice to be able to share that with people that you know instead of strangers. Yeah. But everyone's different, yeah. But so, that's the moment.
I'm thinking, having heard about how great it is for particularly neurodiverse children, what a great thing for a parent to do.
Absolutely.
This course to support their child on a daily basis. That sounds wonderful.
It does. Course. That's yeah.
And what's the cost of that, Jin, for somebody if somebody's interested?
So it's £200 for the
Wow.
And then if you wanted to do Reiki 2, I would say at least leave it ideally 3 months before you go on to your Reiki 2. Simply because you're learning a lot about yourself, you're learning about the energy, and it's very important to be able to do self-Reiki on yourself and know how that is before you think about doing it as a practitioner.
As a practitioner. And so you've got Reiki 2, then you've got Reiki 3 and 4, which is just expanding the learning, is it?
Yes. Yeah. And with Reiki 3, it's more of a journey for yourself. It's learning to be a master. It's about, it's more of a spiritual practice for the person learning it, which I loved it.
Yeah. Really fascinating. So you said that it can be used for self-care. Is that something, if you are doing Reiki for self-care, is it putting time aside every day to do it, or is it how you live your life? How does that work?
So Reiki is how you live your life, but it's if you're level 1 and you just want to do it on yourself, you can. So we're encouraged to do it daily. Even if it's just 5 minutes first thing in the morning, where you just put your hand on your heart, and or last thing at night. I always go to sleep with my hand on my heart. So I'm giving myself Reiki, and then I fall asleep. And so you're encouraged to do self-Reiki every day. But again, not everyone does that, but you never lose it. Once you're attuned to Reiki, you've always got it. But obviously, the more you do it, the more powerful it becomes. It's just like a muscle. The more you use your muscle, the stronger it gets. It's the same with Reiki.
Yeah. So that's really interesting, because your business is hand on heart Reiki, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was a nice thing that you've just shown. Tell us why you would go to sleep with your hand on your heart. Maybe this is something that people can take away today as something they can just do as a daily practice. Is that something?
Yeah. So one of the things I do, it just it's just comforting. It's just a nice little thing for me to put my hand on my heart like this and just go to sleep and I just, have a little thank you for whatever has happened that day, anything that I'm grateful for. And it just calms me as well. And I think just putting your hands there is naturally calming anyway.
Mm.
And then if you're having Reiki flow through you as well, it's very good.
Yeah,
And
wonderful.
and one of the things you mentioned about the heart, I had a client who's they don't know why, but they've always felt this fear. And so we just practiced because if you've got fear in your heart, you've got no love, and you can't have one and the other. They're exclusive to one another. So what we practiced was just putting your hands on your heart when you're feeling scared and just saying to yourself, I only have love in my heart. That's all I have. And just breathing into your heart, I only have love in my heart. And then instantly he noticed that the fear disappeared, and he's been using that, and he said it's just a fantastic tool he's found. So that's something listeners could maybe practice.
Absolutely. What a great lesson for the day. So you've given us lots of lovely examples about clients that you've had who you've helped. Is there anybody you haven't mentioned that really stands out as a client who's taught you something through their practice or through your practice with them, or who you've had incredible results with? I'm putting you on the spot now.
No, but do you know, honestly, every client who comes, I learn something from them. Everyone is completely different. They all have different reasons for coming to me. And every time I have a client, it's always, yeah, Reiki's real. Yeah, it's definitely there. There's always some kind of profound experience for the client, but also for myself. I have had a few clients who've, they're right in the middle of stress, and they come to me and they just have one session, and then it brings up things they themselves don't feel ready to deal, so they go away, and then they come back when they do feel more stable, and they always say they wish they came back and continued with it. But it's, yeah, I have a client who came for about 5 weeks, once a week and she had Reiki 5 times, and now she just comes every 6 weeks just to top her up, and her, and for her, life is so much more manageable now, and she doesn't have the same stress she used to, and she puts that down to Reiki. And so if I can help just one person, help make their life a little bit easier for themselves, that's what I'm all about. It's not about changing the world, it's about changing the world for that one person.
Absolutely. And what a difference you can make. It's if you can take that away, that stress, and that and give them tools to move forward. How often do you usually see people for?
So initially, I would say it depends how much is going on in their life and how much they need it. But I would say if you've not had it before and there's a lot going on, normally I would say come for one session once a week for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then see how you get on. And then for some people that's enough. For others, they want to carry on, coming weekly for a little bit longer. Others, they'll just get in touch with me as and when.
We're seeing, I think all of us practitioners across the modalities are seeing people with chronic pain. Do you have success in helping? Is it that you try to help them manage the pain, or is it that you help them to cure the pain?
So, like I said, Reiki is not a cure, but sometimes it can. Sometimes it can, get rid of that pain. So I do have people who come with me and they've got chronic pain, but usually there's other mental and mental health and emotional issues going on, and often the two are linked. And so if you deal with what is actually causing that on a mental or emotional level, then often it just makes that a lot lighter. But sometimes, like I said, it's not a cure, but it helps make it more manageable for them. It might not get rid of it, but it eases it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Like my mother-in-law, for example, every time I go over, I always put my hands on her knees, and it gives her enough, to get on with it for the next week or so. And
Wow.
yeah, just makes it more manageable. But yeah, it's
Wow.
good for
And
physical
I
pain.
suppose as well, chronic pain, but also gut issues.
Absolutely,
I can see that would be, which are often very much linked to the brain as well, aren't they, and the nervous
yes,
system.
absolutely, yeah.
So,
So I have had people who've come with, they've been told they have IBS, and then it just, once they've come for Reiki and we've dealt with whatever, they find it's not an issue again.
wow. I think a lot of the general public, or people, I mean, myself included, just wouldn't have thought to come to you for Reiki because they had IBS.
Yeah.
They come to me as a nutritionist, or they'll go see their GP. But I think this is the huge value in WellVow, whereby people can put in their symptoms to a questionnaire, and you might be suggested as a practitioner. And fascinating for people to go, oh, interesting. Why have I been recommended to see a Reiki practitioner? And to understand how you can help them on their IBS journey or on their chronic pain journey is just, I think that's a magical tool that WellVow is offering.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, if you think about it, where your mind goes, your body follows. So, if you're constantly stressed about something, it is going to, show up in your body somehow.
Yeah.
And if you constantly think about something that happened years ago, again, it's your body's responding, the nervous system is responding, and you're always putting your body under that stress. So it is going to respond in some issue as an imbalance somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. Jin, you've given us so much information. Before we go on to some sort of quick fire questions, is there anything that we haven't covered that you feel is important to cover as a Reiki specialist?
No, I think we've covered a lot of it.
Covered.
But I would say, to anyone coming here, just come in with an open mind.
Yeah,
Come in with an
absolutely.
open mind. It's not woo woo, it works.
Yeah. Saying it's not woo woo, I mean, when does it date back to? What's the history of Reiki?
So, I mean, historically, there's so many different forms of healing that we've had since forever. But this Mikei Usui, he founded it in around 1920, so
Okay.
just over 100 years.
Yeah. Interesting. So let's go on to some quick fire questions, just to sort of sum up what we've been talking about. So, give me one word which sums up Reiki.
Ooh,
Or maybe two if you need two.
deep relaxation.
Deep relaxation, yeah. What's the biggest misconception about Reiki?
That is connected to a religion,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's
interesting.
not. It's for everyone.
The most rewarding part about your work?
Seeing the difference it makes in people's lives.
Yeah. What would you say to someone who is curious but nervous or maybe even skeptical?
Just contact me, and we can have a little chat on the phone, and yeah, and give it a go is what I'd say.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
advice. Because
okay.
I was that person, wasn't I? I was the person who's a bit nervous,
Yeah,
not quite sure what to expect. And
mm,
honestly, if you are interested, give it a go. It really is the most deeply
exactly.
relaxing, and you are able. It's time for yourself, isn't it? And it's time to think about yourself and give
Mm,
over to some of these emotions which come out. It's really deeply powerful.
yeah, it's like a massage for your mind, body, and soul, is how I'd say.
Yeah, that's so true. So
Yeah.
true. Without the dolphin music, no dolphin
That
music involved.
no dolphin music. I have music, but it's not dolphin music.
It was very nice. So if listeners are to remember one thing from this conversation, what would you like them to take away with them today?
Just give it a go. It's for everyone. It's for everyone. Give it a
Yeah.
go.
So, Jin, we'll give the link to the WellVow site for your practitioner page, but how else can people get in touch with you? Have you got a website or social media?
I have. So I've got a website, Hand on Heart Reiki. Also Google Pages, and I've got all my reviews on there. And I am on Facebook and I'm on Instagram as well. Hand on
Lovely. And
Heart.
we'll put all the links beneath this podcast as well. And then if you want to find Jin on WellVow, it's www.wellvow.com/practitioners/Jin, that's JIN hyphen SIDHU. But again, we'll put a link on that on the website.
Lovely.
Jin, thank you so much. What a brilliant 45 minutes we've had, 40 minutes. I've learned loads, and I hope that we've been able to educate other people as well.
Yeah. And I think WellVow is a great platform, and I'm happy to be part of it.
We're so happy to have you. What a great team we're making. Thanks so much, Jin. We will be in touch, and thank you everybody for listening today. And the next podcast will be up shortly as well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.